Hello student, I welcome you to the class and I wish you very happy new year. So let's begin the revision of a new lesson today, and that lesson is a very what should I say, it's a very nice lesson, and you will see the special bonding between the grandmother and the grandson. So the name of the lesson is the portrait of a lady. Okay, the portrait of a lady, and so in this lesson children, it is written by Khushwant Singh. The writer is a very famous writer of India and his name is Khushwant Singh. I hope everybody must have heard his name, and at present he is the chief editor in the Hindustan Time. He was working. He has written many novels. His novels have become world famous, and of course, children, he is a boy who was from a rural background. A boy who was from rural background. Now he is there. He is coming here children for the first time. He is there in the city, and how nicely children he is writing, he's expressing himself in English. He has become one of the best writer of the English books. So in this letter children, the portrait of a lady, the Khushwant Singh draws a life like pen portrait. Okay, life like pen portrait of his grandmother. So who is the lady, who is the protagonist here is his own grandmother. He had intimate relationship with her since his childhood. That means he was having a very close relationship with his grandmother when he was since his childhood only. A turning point came in their relationship when the narrator parents sent for them to the city. Now children, a turning point came, and that I will be explaining you how, when they both moved from the village to the city. Though she was happy that his grandson is moving to the city for the sake of education only, but then she was not happy the way he was taught, the subjects which were taught there. Okay, so children, the narrator went abroad for higher studies. His arrival after 5 years from abroad was an occasion for celebration. She was very happy, and I will be explaining you in detail when I will be explaining you the lesson. The old lady tired herself and fell ill. She was so happy. She sang, she beat the drum, which is known as dholak in our traditional language, for a very long hours. And then finally, children, she knew that her end was near, as if she was waiting for her grandson to see before dying. So she saw him also, and finally she died, and she was mourned by several thousand of iftaru whom she used to feed regularly in the afternoon. This is one of the very strangest thing in this story. This is a very strange thing in the story. I will be telling you in detail. So children, first of all, I will be telling you the background of the story. So first point is pen portrait of grandmother. So first point is pen portrait of a grandmother. Actually, it is the grandmother. She is the grandmother of Khushwant Singh. So in the portrait of a lady, so who is a lady here? It is the grandmother of Khushwant Singh. Draw a pen portrait of his grandmother. So in the portrait of the lady, that means in this chapter, he had given the pen portrait of his grandmother. His grandmother was like everybody's grandmother, nothing new, nothing extraordinary. She was like everybody's grandmother, so caring, so affectionate, very sincerely looking after the child. Okay, she was quite an old woman, and like other old women, and she was also a very old woman. It was hard to believe that once she had been young and pretty. So children, it was very difficult for the child, that means Khushwant Singh, to believe that she was once upon a time she was very young and she was pretty, because at that time, the moment he had seen her, she was of a very old age. So many wrinkles were there on her face, but she was having a grand personality, a charming personality, a magical personality. The thought itself was revolting. His grandfather's picture hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He looked at least 100 years old. He had also seen the picture of his grandfather, who he thought was 100 years old. Now, looked terribly old. Second point is looked terribly old. Second point is Khushwant Singh mother, she looked very old. She looked the same for 20 years. She could not walk straight. She hobbled about the house in spotless white clothes. She had to keep her one hand on her waist. It was to balance her stoop. What is the meaning of stoop? Children, when we bend like this, that is a stoop. So, Khushwant Singh's grandmother was a short lady. She was fat and slightly bent. She had a wrinkled face. She looked very old. She looked the same for 20 years. To him, children, he felt there is no change. He felt there is no change in her because from the last 20 years, he had seen in the same way. She could not walk straight. She has to bend her body as she was too old. And every time, children, she has to keep one hand on her like this for her support. She had to keep her one hand on her waist, and she hobbled. And first of all, she could not walk straight. She used to hobbled about the house in spotless white clothes. Whatever she was, children, she used to hobble about the house in the white clothes. She had to keep her one hand on her waist. She was to balance her stoop. She held a rosary in the hand. What is the meaning of rosary? That, children, with which we help we pray. Okay, a garland. So the beads are there in the rosary. She was always telling the beads. Her silver locks scattered over her pale face. Silver locks, her whole white over it was scattered over her face. Her lips constantly move, and children, every time her lips used to move, maybe she was, according to him, she always used to take the name of God. She always prayed to herself, and she always used to pray. She gave a picture of peace and contentment. When anybody used to see her, what they used to think, they used to feel that she is a picture of peace and contentment. Now, third point. Okay, so children, here children, they were close friend. Who? The Khushwant Singh and the grandmother. Okay, so when the parents had to go, children, out of the station because of some business. Okay, so here the children, they both the grandmother and the grandchild, they lived like a close friend. They came much closer with each other, shared each other feeling, expressed their own sorrows and happiness to each other. The narrator and his grandmother were good friends. They became very good friends because, children, the parent had to go, maybe I think for some business they had to leave the village and they have to settle the city. So the parents had left him with her in the village. They were always together. They did not leave anybody even for a moment. She used to wake him up in the morning. What she used to do, she used to wake him up in the morning. She got him ready for school. She made him ready for the school. She said her morning prayers in an unchanging sing song. And what she used to do, children, she used to sing her morning prayer every day with a loud voice. She would wash his wooden slate and plaster it with yellow chalk. So what she used to do, she used to wash his wooden slate with the plaster on it with yellow chalk. She would take an earthen ink pot and a red pen. What she would take an earthen ink pot and a red pen. She would tie them in a bundle and hand it to him, and she would tie him in the bundle and hand it to him. She would give him a thick stale chapatis with a little butter and sugar spread on him, and she would give him a little chapati but little butter and a sugar spread on it. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village talk. And children, when she used to go, what she used to do, she used to carry lot of chapatis with her, and the chapatis used to be stale because in the morning she never used to get time to cook fresh chapatis, to bake fresh chapatis. So she used to carry even stale chapatis for several of the dogs who used to wait for her. That means she, children, see how caring she was. She not even used to care Khushwant Singh, but she used to care the dogs and the sparrows also. Now, children, the fourth point is that she used to accompany Khushwant Singh to the school. Okay. So the fourth point is okay, she used to go to the school with the narrator. So children, when she used to help him to get up early in the morning, she used to get him ready, she used to pack his tiffin, she used to wash his slate, and after that, children, the grandmother always went to the school with the narrator. The school was attached to the temple, and children, that school that was attached to the temple. There was the priest who taught the children the alphabets and the morning prayer. No other teacher was there, children. It was none other than the village priest. He was the village priest for the temple also. He was a teacher for the village children also. So what he used to do, children, he used to start the day with the morning prayer. Okay, and then he used to teach the children the alphabet. The children sat in rows on either side of the veranda. Both the side the children used to sit. They sang the alphabet and the prayer in a chorus. The grandmother sat inside the temple. She spent her time in reading holy books. She would walk back home with him. And children, what grandmother used to do in the meantime? So in the meantime, what she used to do? She used to read the holy books inside the temple, not also outside. And then she would walk back with him, children, when the school used to get over, and she used to complete her prayer also inside the temple, and she used to come back with Khushwant Singh. She used to hold his hand, and they used to walk home together. The village dog would gather at the temple door, children, when she used to go inside the temple door for her prayers. The village dog, they used to gather at the temple. They growled and fought for the chapatis thrown to them. Now, fifth point, a turning point in relationship. So children, a turning point in their okay, children. So they were very happy. They were together, and that was the best part of the life of the grandmother, because after that she did not know that there would be a turning point in the relationship. She was more than a mother to the narrator. She was more than a friend to him, and without him, her life was hopeless. Even narrator life was hopeless. So it used to seem to everybody that these grandmother and the grandson were made for each other. Now children, finally, now the narrator had to go to the city for his school education, because only the priest was there to teach him. Only he used to teach them the basic things, nothing else. So children, for the next level of the school, the parents had decided that he would shift to the city along with his grandmother. So the narrator parents sent for them in the city, and it was a turning point to their friendship. Though children, they now live in a rented room, they shared in the same room, but grandmother no longer went to the school with him. So first of all, children, the grandmother, she used to take care for him, but she never used to go to the school with him. Okay, and why? Because there were two reasons. The school was very far away, and the narrator had to go to the school by a motor bus. Second, children, there were no dogs in the street, so grandmother did not even had an interest that she should come down and feed the dogs also. The grandmother took to feeding the sparrow. Yes, one more thing she had started doing in the city, and that was feeding to the sparrow. Though she could not find any dogs in the street, or she could not, or maybe she was not able to come down because of the stairs. She was already very old. So what she started doing, she started feeding to the sparrows. Children, so many years they lived like that. Okay, and the grandmother and her grandson saw less of each other now. She hated English and science. Now, children, both of them hated English. She really hated the English language because she was a typical Indian lady, and she used to think, children, this English is. She did not like English medium school, and moreover, she thought, children, English is a British language. So why the children should learn English? That was the reason she hated English very much, as well as she did not like science. Why she did not like science? Because, children, dissection of the frog and all that thing used to be there, so maybe she did not like science also. So now, children, the grandson was very much busy in his studying, because maybe because of his assignment, maybe because of his homework, maybe because of the stress or the pressure of the studies. Now he was having very less time to talk with his grandson, so they saw very less of each other now. Okay, and she was very sad because she felt that some religious teaching should be there in the school. The teacher should tell something about the God, and some religious script should be introduced in the school, like Mahabharata or children, Ramayana. She felt sad that there were no teaching about God and the scripture at the new school. And children, she did not, when narrator told her that he did not have music, she have the music also. So she started, children, she was shocked, because, children, she did not like music. She thought that music is only for the prostitute and the beggar. The prostitute, they dance on music, and the beggars, children, for begging, what they do, they sing the song so that the people can hear them and give them some money. So it was children, she did not like music lessons being given in the school. To her, music had lewd association. Okay, so she did not like at all. It was good only for prostitute and beggar. So according to her, children, okay, she did not like it. And now let me tell you, children, there were three phases in the life of the grandmother. So what were their three phases were there? The three phases of the author relationship with his grandmother before he left the country to study abroad. So what were their three phases were there in the life? The first phase of the author's relationship with his grandmother started when he was in the village and when he was a child. Okay, the old lady used to tell him and other children of the games she used to play as a child, and that seemed quite absurd to him. The children treated them like the fables of the prophet she used to tell them. The second phase of this relationship began when the narrator started going to the school, village school. His parents left him with her, and she used to nurture him. They went to the parents, they went for some business purpose to live in the city. They were constantly together. So the now children, the grandson and the grandmother, they became the best friend. Okay, made for each other, it seems. And she used to wake him in the morning and get him ready for the school. She would fetch his wooden slate, a tiny earthen ink pot, and a red pen. She used to give it to him when he used to left for the school. After a breakfast of a thick steel chapatis with a butter and sugar in it, she used to accompany him to the school, and she carried several chapatis for the village dog also. The school was attached to the temple. They would walk back with each other. And children, the third phase, when the writer, before going abroad, when he went to the city to study in the school, English medium school. This was the third phase of their relationship. Children, this was a shock to the grandmother, as now children, writer was not having time to sit with her, to chat with her, Okay, so many assignments, so many work, so many pressure was of studies was there, so he was not able to sit with her in the city. That was a turning point in their friendship. He used to go to an English school in a motor bus. As the years rolled by, they saw less of each other. She did not like the English school, and because children, there was no teaching of God, no religious script. Rather, what they used to teach Western music to her, to them, which she really did not like. She used to feel that music is only for prostitute and beggars, and children, there was no religious scripture taught. Nothing about the God was told to them, and children. And finally, children, when he went to the university, he was given a room of his own. So that friendship has also started. It was snapped. The grandfather expected her loneliness quietly, and now, children, it was the time for the writer to go abroad for study. So she had to live alone. This she had accepted, and children, finally, I will be telling you about the 6th, 7th, and 8th points. Okay, so let's see what is the 6th point here. So the 7th point is 6th point is bond of friendship broken. Now, children, the 5th point I'm going to write now, the bonds of their friendship was broken. Okay, so here, children, finally the narrator went up to the university. He was given a room of his own. The common link of their friendship was broken now, because maybe, children, the narrator, he was given a lot of assignments and homework, as he has moved to the new school of English medium, and he has to give 7 or 8 hours in the school. Then he must have be getting a lot of homeworks and assignment. So he was having a very less time to communicate with his grandmother. Maybe she was also busy, because still that was a new place. She has to do each and everything by her own hand. So the day by day, children, they were having communication gap and very less time. Both were too busy. So the common link of their friendship was broken. The grandmother, children, finally she has accepted her loneliness very quietly. She buried herself with her spinning wheel. She talked very rarely to the narrator, as she was seeing him. He's very much busy in his studies. She relaxed only in the afternoon. She enjoyed herself while feeding the sparrow. Only one thing she liked to do, that means she used to feed the sparrow. She would sit in the veranda. She broke the bread into little bits and threw them to the sparrow. So she would sit in the veranda. She broke the bread into little bits and threw them into the sparrows. Hundreds of sparrows collected round her. So many sparrows has collected round her. They created a hell of noise. Some came and sat on her legs. The other perched on her shoulders. She never drove them away. Feeding the sparrow was the happiest hour of the day for her. Okay. So, children, she used to feed so many sparrows. The sparrows were very friendly with her. They used to sit on her lap. They used to sit on her thigh. Sometimes they used to sit on her shoulder. But she never used to turn them away. Feeding the sparrow was the happiest half hour of the day for her. Now, children, now my 7th point is narrator went abroad. So, children, narrator, he went abroad. Okay, and for his higher study. And here, children, the grandmother, she became very sad, but she was helpless. She knew that it won't look nice to stop him for his studies, though she was not happy with the modes of the education which was there at that time. But, children, she reacted in a very nice manner. She showed that she was not upset at all. And not only that, children, being a old age lady, she came to the station to see him off for the when he was going abroad. And children, she did not show any emotion. She tried to become very hard-hearted. She kissed his forehead head silently, showered lot of blessing and love to him. And children, the narrator thought that it was his last physical contact, the kiss on his forehead, because he thought that grandmother is so old that when he will return back after 5 years, he will never see her. Okay, but she was fortunate that she was still living when her grandson came back. Okay, so celebrating the homecoming, celebrating the homecoming of her grandson. Okay, so that was the 8 point. Okay, the narrator returned home after 5 years. He completed his studies. The grandmother did not look a day older. In the evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected all the women of the neighborhood. She was so happy at that time when the narrator returned back from the foreign country. She was so happy that she forgot to pray that evening. She collected all the ladies of the neighborhood and she took an old drum and started singing. She continued thumping the old drum for several hours. Children, she played that drum, and the other ladies started telling her that she will get continuous. She will be getting tired if she will be singing and beating the drum for all long hours, because she had already beat that drum for several hours. And children, she sang the homecoming of the warriors. The song was about which she was singing was the homecoming of the warriors. They had to persuade her to stop. Singing and beating of the drum could make her tired. So singing and beating of the drum could make her tired. For the first time, she forgot to pray. So in the evening, children, she was so happy that her grandson had returned that she forgot to pray. Now, children, we are having 2 more points. The 8th point is grandmother's death. The saddest thing. Okay, children, what I feel and what you will feel also, that even the writer thought that when he will return from after 5 years, he will never see his grandmother. That was, it is written in the book. It is written in the chapter that he felt that it was his last physical contact when she kissed his forehead, when she went to leave him when she went to see him off at the station. So, but when he returned, he was very happy that his old grandmother was still living. And she was so happy. I told you she forgot to pray that evening, and she was singing, she was playing mating drum. Then children, next morning she fell ill. What I feel, children, that she was waiting for him only. She was waiting for him to see him for the last time. So the next morning she fell ill. She declared that her end was near. Now children, she told everybody that she might live no more. She did not want to waste any more time talking to them. She laid peacefully in bed. Now she did not waste her time. She laid peacefully in her bed. She continued praying and telling her beads. Children, she started praying with the help of the beads. Then her lips stopped moving. Suddenly, writer had seen that now that the lip sync which was going on, that it has stopped. Her lips stopped moving. The rosary fell from her hand. The rosary fell down from her lifeless hand. That means she is no more. She was no more now. She was dead. She was laid on the ground. Her dead body was covered with a red shroud. Red shroud was poured and her dead body was covered. Okay. Now children, the saddest part of the whole lesson, and this is the most important part, mourning of sparrows. As you can see, children, not only everybody in the house, but thousands of sparrows, they came to the dead body to pay their last tribute. Even they were very sad. They knew that the lady will be coming no more in front of them. She is dead. So it was evening, children. It was evening time when she was dead. The sun was setting. They bought a wooden stretcher to carry him to the funeral ground. They stopped halfway in the courtyard, and children, finally, children, the person who were carrying her dead body, they stopped for some time in the courtyard. Why? Because thousands of sparrows sat near her dead body. Thousands, not 1, 200, but thousands of sparrows, as if they had to pay their last tribute to the grandmother. They did not chirp up. No sparrow sang, no sparrow chirp up, no sparrow say anything. Everyone felt sorry for the birds. Children, they were all the people who were feeling sorrow for the grandmother. They also were feeling sorry for the birds. The narrator's mother brought bread and broke it into little crumbs. She threw those crumbs to them, but the bird did not eat any crumb. They did not even take any notice to those crumbs. When they carried her dead body outside, the sparrow flew quietly. All the sparrow, they flew quietly after paying their last tribute to the grandmother. And children, the numbers of the sparrows were in thousands. So you can see that even those animal children, they were in sorrow. So with this, the background of the lesson is explained here. And with tomorrow, children, I will be in my next video, you will see that I will be explaining the lesson. So with this, I conclude my video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.